The sound of cannon fire echoes across the rolling fields of Waterloo. In this alternate timeline, the events of June 18, 1815, unfold differently. Napoleon Bonaparte, the man who reshaped Europe, seizes victory with brilliant tactics, unshaken determination, and just enough luck to turn the tide. His troops, emboldened by his presence and command, outmaneuver the Allied forces led by the Duke of Wellington and Prussian Marshal Blucher. By nightfall, Napoleon's flag stands tall on the battlefield, and history takes a drastic turn. But what does this victory mean? How would the world have changed if the greatest military mind of his era had prevailed one last time? To answer these questions, we must dive into the consequences of a French victory, Napoleon's unyielding vision for Europe, and the global ripple effects of his triumph. Napoleon's win at Waterloo would have shattered the fragile coalition of nations aligned against him. Britain, Prussia, Austria, and Russia, all part of the Seventh Coalition, would have faced not just a military defeat but a collapse of morale and political unity. The Seventh Coalition relied heavily on Wellington's and Blucher's armies. Without their victory, the coalition would likely dissolve into fractured alliances, giving Napoleon the opportunity to negotiate peace on his terms. In Paris, Napoleon's return would be nothing short of triumphant. Crowds would gather in the streets to celebrate their emperor's return to glory. The French Empire, which seemed to be on the brink of collapse, would rise again, stronger and more unified under Napoleon's leadership. The Napoleonic Code, his revolutionary legal framework, would spread further across Europe, becoming the foundation for modern governance in countless nations. Economically, a victorious Napoleon would redirect resources toward rebuilding France's infrastructure, encouraging innovation, and expanding trade routes. The Industrial Revolution in France and its territories would accelerate, as Napoleon sought to modernize his empire and compete with Britain's industrial might. Railways, factories, and urban centers would spring up, transforming France into a powerhouse of industry and commerce. Politically, Napoleon's dream of a unified Europe might come to fruition. He envisioned a Europe without borders, governed by common laws and values, a vision centuries ahead of its time. The various kingdoms and duchies of Europe, once fragmented and at odds, would be integrated into a single empire. This European Union under Napoleon would emphasize meritocracy, education, and secular governance, leaving a lasting legacy for future generations. But Napoleon's ambitions would not stop at Europe. With Britain's influence diminished, France would dominate overseas trade and exploration. The Americas, both North and South, might experience less interference from European powers, leading to new political dynamics. Napoleon's earlier dreams of establishing a French foothold in the Americas might be reignited. Imagine a French-led Louisiana territory or renewed French interest in colonies across the Caribbean and Africa. Culturally, the Napoleonic Empire would foster a golden age of art, music, and science. Napoleon was a patron of the arts and valued intellectual achievements. Writers, painters, and inventors would thrive under his rule, contributing to an era of innovation and creativity. Paris would become the epicenter of cultural exchange, attracting talent from across Europe and beyond. However, even in this alternate timeline, challenges would arise. Napoleon's empire, vast and diverse, would face resistance from regional powers and nationalist movements. Governing an empire of this scale would require immense resources, political skill, and military strength. Questions about succession and the future of the empire would loom large. Could Napoleon's legacy endure beyond his lifetime? Or would his empire, like so many before it, crumble under the weight of its ambition?